Hi guys, it's Baz here, the Everyday Vegan. It's been an age since I've done a proper video, so welcome back. And today's topic is going to be vegan shoes, because it's been something that I had to deal with because I recently went on holiday and unfortunately I have wrecked my shoes in the process, so I needed to buy some new shoes, which to be fair I didn't find very easy. Before we get into the topic, I just wanted to say thank you again for subscribing. There's loads more subscribers and I'm really chuffed about it, of course. I think we're at 1150 now. It doesn't seem that long ago since I did the 1000 subscriber video. And as of today, which I found out whilst having a vegan breakfast with my friends here in Norwich, I have 500 likes on Facebook, which apparently is a milestone. So I'm very happy about that as well. I'm quite active on there, and you guys are too, so you like my photos and you get in touch and you give me tips and we share shopping advice, which is really cool. So please subscribe to that or like that or whatever it's called. Anyway, I made some notes, which you always know means I have thought about the video I'm doing rather than just rambling on. The first thing I did is I went to a place called Shoe. Shoe is a chain of shoe shops, well duh, in the UK, and they're usually really cool because they all get looked after very well, so they're usually quite happy working there and they tend to know a lot about the shoes that they have. Now anyway, there's a vegan girl that works in the Norwich store and she said, oh yeah, I can help you, blah blah blah. They've got this little computer system in the wall and they can look up stuff, and they have this category that they can drop down and it's called man-made, which would suggest that it's all man-made materials, i.e. no leather, etc. However, what I found, and this is my problem with shoe, is that it doesn't seem to take into account little leather accents. So I found a lot of shoes that were made from cotton or they were made from fabric or whatever. Unfortunately, they had a tiny little detail at the back or at the top or whatever that was made from real leather, which of course is useless for me. So I couldn't go down that route. So I started Googling that, and what I found, and I'm going to just bring out a few examples, otherwise this might be boring for you. But I typed vegan shoes. One of the things that comes up is a place called beyondskin.co.uk. And Beyond Skin seems to be awesome, only that it seems to be tailored very much towards women. So there's some really cool, funky looking high heels and, you know, very dressy shoes. But two things: A, they're very expensive. Well, I find £135 for a pair of shoes very expensive. And also, as soon as you click on men's, which I'm doing now, it just says a new line is coming soon. So it might be me not using the website correctly. Of course, that's always a possibility, but otherwise I didn't find anything. Then there are a few shops like Will's Shoes, Will's London that is, that again are very dressy shoes. So I don't think I'll ever have a problem buying shoes to go with a wedding suit or anything like that. I think there's a lot of possibility out there, but again, £75 for a pair of shoes, £35 for a fake leather belt. Personally, for me, that's quite expensive. There are, of course, also a few shops out there that do specific vegan footwear, but again, and this sounds terrible because I'm sure I've just not found the right ones, but I don't find them very fashionable, and I'm not a fashionable guy, but you know what I mean. A few of them look quite sort of track booty and stuff like that, but again, this may just be me. So one that I found is ethicalwears.com, and I just actually saw a few sneakers on here as well, so that proves that I just didn't look properly. Toms. Now Toms are usually a quite interesting company because they've done this whole thing about if you buy a pair of shoes from us, we give a pair of shoes to a child in need. Now the other thing that you can find, veganline.com, let me have a look at that one. So again, these seem to be sort of relatively small makers, and again the prices are just a little bit out of my league of what I'm happy to pay for a pair of shoes. £83.50 for vegan trainers. And they look cool, don't get me wrong, they're very cool, but £83, that's, I usually buy 2 pairs of shoes for that. What I did in the end, and I just didn't think about this, I actually started Googling it vegetarian shoes rather than vegan shoes, and trust me, it makes a difference. And I found a website called zalando.co.uk, and I think they are just some sort of portal that connects you with other shops. And there seems to be a whole ton of shoes that they class as vegetarian. And like, you can scroll down and down and down and down, and it just keeps going. There's everything from Converse on there to Vans, which is usually the sort of style of shoe that I wear. There's Nikes on here, and there seem to be Etnies and Lacoste and stuff like that. But again, when I looked into it a little bit more, some of them, and you just gotta be careful reading this properly, some of them seem to have sort of leather accents, or they seem to have like a little label at the back, and that's made from leather, which just tells me that maybe this website isn't particularly set up for this particular group of people, as in vegetarians and vegans. It just seems to have a drop-down category to do that. Now, I think my friends from the US seem to have a much easier life, because I found a few really cool US sites where you can literally drop down a menu and you can select vegan and it just gives you vegan shoes. There's Coco, everybody. Hello, he's still here. You gonna say anything? No? Okay, let me put you down. Now, what I did in the end, I started Googling particular brands that I'm interested in. This is by no means me endorsing those brands, don't get this wrong, but I've had Vans for the last year and a half, which are the ones that I've wrecked on my holiday. And there's a particular model called Atwood, and they seem to be vegan, so they've been on a few vegan blogs that I've found, and they've been identified as vegan. Now, one thing I should probably say at this point is, what makes a shoe not vegan? Because people would say, if it's not leather, it's vegan, right? The problem with that is, unfortunately, and I had to read up on this as well, is about the glue that gets used. Now, of course, you know my opinion about veganism being a sliding scale. Some people pay a lot of attention to that, others don't. I would like to think that I pay attention to it because glue is often made from either cow bone or horse bone. And of course there are synthetic glues, which a lot of companies use, therefore they can make their shoes completely vegan, i.e. all of those shops around the world. And maybe the UK is just not up there yet with the US and some other places. But yeah, so those two things are really what makes a shoe not vegan. In the end, what I did, I looked for particular models of shoes. I literally just Googled, are Vans vegan, are DC vegan, or whatever. And I found a particularly pair of shoes that I really liked, and it had synthetic leather on the top of it. So it has a leather accent, but I found it synthetic leather, and I found a website that sort of detailed exactly the materials that were in it. Anyway, I bought them. And that's what's in this box. And I've had this for a week and a half now, and I swore I'm not going to open the box because I wanted to do this video. So I've got a trusted knife here, so I'm just going to open that. And hopefully it is actually synthetic leather, because I don't know this. But I think I've done enough reading up on it. And they are DC. So again, this is not me endorsing any particular brand. I bought this. There's the website. I bought this from Surf Dome. But I think the Surf Dome website itself, Surf Dome, didn't actually have all the details. So I found the particular pair of shoes on another website, which, as I said, I'll try and put in there. And I read up about the shoe and then ordered them from Surf Dome. There we are. So DC shoes, and they are blue. I like blue shoes. There we are. Boom. Yes. No leather. Yeah. I'm very happy about this. I'm such a geek. But anyway, this is the pair of shoes that I bought. I hope you can see that. I think they're very nice. And I'm so glad that I can finally wear them. So yeah, and these two little accents that you couldn't really see on the website before, that's some sort of nylon, I guess, up here. And that's just fabric, actually. And what you often find is that these little accents up here, or these little things here, or sometimes even the tags. I found a lot of really cool looking Vans made from cotton that then had a tiny little tag on them that were vegan, which is a little bit silly, but I'm so excited to be wearing new shoes and not those old ones that I've been wearing for the last few weeks. So I'm very happy with them. I hope you like them. This particular pair is, oh god, I should have looked this up before I did the video. I'll put it in. I'll put the exact model of these particular shoes in there, but I really like them, and they're a little bit narrower than my other ones, so that's really cool. Now, the other thing that I wanted to use this video for is to just give you a little bit of food for thought about the whole leather thing. And I've said this a few times before, because my problem was, and I'm repeating myself here, but my problem was always that, well, it's fair enough to say you shouldn't use leather because you're vegan. But then I looked into the cotton industry, and this just happened to be because during my degree I had to look into corporate responsibility, and there was a lot of stuff around Puma, for example, one of the biggest brands for shoes out there, saying that they will try and phase leather out of their entire production, which of course needs to be applauded. That's fantastic. And they were desperately trying to find other ecologically stable materials to replace the leather with, which isn't easy at all, despite what other people want to say to you, especially small vegan companies say, yeah, we're sustainable and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of artificial materials can be quite bad for the environment as well. So I googled some of this stuff, and I found a particular part of the WWF website, and it's about cotton farming. And unfortunately, the cotton industry is horrific because there's just so much demand in the world for cotton. Just to give you a few stats, not to bore you with this, but a few stats. So the water impact, for example, it can take more than 20,000 liters of water to produce 1 kilogram of cotton. So very similar to the farming industry for meat. 73% of global cotton harvest comes from irrigated land, i.e. there's a big impact on the water table. In terms of chemicals, only 2.4% of the world agriculturally are used for cotton production, but it accounts for 24 and 11% respectively in terms of insecticides and pesticides production. So terrible for the environment. It uses mainly genetically engineered crops, particularly in, I think, the US, in US, India, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, and West Africa. They together account for 75% of the global cotton production. And it has a lot of impact on, of course, wildlife in terms of their habitats. So trees get cut down, you know about this from the rainforest in Southern America. And obviously all those animals get displaced, and then that land gets monocultured. I don't know if that's the right term or phrase, but there's a monoculture, so it only ever gets used for cotton, which of course is terrible for the soil. It can't regenerate, and of course all those animals, I always imagine little hedgehogs and mice and stuff running around, and birds and insects, they of course get displaced, which is terrible. So I always feel as a vegan I have a responsibility when it comes to things like that as well, not just in terms of what I eat. So that was an interesting article, and I will put the link for that in there because I encourage you guys to read it. There's another PDF document on here which is called The Impact of Cotton on Freshwater Resources and Ecosystems, which was a very interesting read. Quite shocking, to be honest. And then I found another website, which again I'd like you guys to look into if you're bored, by Clifford James. I have no idea who they are, but they did an article called Environmental Showdown, Natural versus Synthetic. And they talk a lot about the difference between leather and faux leather, about the difference between cotton and polyester. So going from natural materials like wool or leather, however natural you want to think that is, to things like acrylic and nylon and cotton, so things that grow on trees or that we produce in factories. And it's very, very interesting because there just seems to not be one material that doesn't have a big impact on anything. Especially what unfortunately gets used in vegan footwear a lot is synthetic leather, which is just terrible in terms of the chemicals that get used in that. So lots of food for thought today. I hope you like this little piece. It's a little bit more serious than what I usually do, but I've been thinking about this for a long time. I think it's a very important issue that we all need to be aware of when we buy our respective clothes and shoes, etc. I'm gonna enjoy wearing my new shoes. And oh yeah, and this is really, really important. Please guys, if you find something about vegetarian or vegan shoes that you want to share, like a really cool website or a blog where someone reviews them or whatever, please share it. I promise if I get enough material, I'll do a little follow-up video to this one to help people buy vegan shoes, because I found it a very stressful and difficult process. So I'm sure I'm not the only one out there. So please, we need to start helping each other with this stuff. So please just post it on my website, email me at theeverydayvegan@yahoo.com, or tweet at me, or put it on my Facebook page, put it somewhere, let me know about it, and I'll do a little couple of minutes follow-up video about what you guys have found or what you've shared or what your best practices are, and I shall hopefully produce something that you guys find helpful. Until then guys, from us here at Vegan Central, where is Cook? He's hiding behind me. Anyway, bye bye, nice seeing you, see you soon.